Today's episode is brought to you by the letter B for Bimboification. Welcome to OkayishAF does whatever she wants. I'm OkayishAF and I'm going to do whatever I want. And today, I'm so sorry to tell you, we're talking about Kristi Noem's husband and his big old lopsided boobies. I am so sorry. We have to talk about it. If I have to know about it, you have to know about it. I don't make the rules. That's just how it is. I feel like I am in a adult Sesame Street episode that I didn't ask to be in. It is, I'm not having fun here. Actually hate it a whole lot, but we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about Matt Gaetz apparently is leaking information that there are alien and human hybrids walking among us. Cool. I'm also going to give you some resources to figure out when your elections are, what's going to be on the ballot in your area, so that you can plan to register and show up to vote, because it's important. It's not the only thing, but it is important. And then we're going to talk about Chesney. Chesney? Is his name Chesney? Yeah, the kangaroo. We're going to talk about him and his escape from a petting zoo. I love him so much. Come with me down the rabbit hole. I'm so sorry. When I saw the photos of Byron Noem, listen, I did not know that bimboification was a thing. So I'm learning. And if you didn't know it was a thing, you can learn with me because it is fascinating. And I want to make this abundantly clear. I'm not kink shaming. I just didn't know. I had no idea. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a prude by any means, but I just was not aware that this was something that happened. And you know, in reading about it, it made sense because a lot of drag queens do this, right? It wouldn't be a big deal, except for he is married to Ice Barbie, Kristi Noem, right? Who they are both members of the Republican Party, who has made it one of their missions to paint drag queens and cross-dressers as pedophiles. So it is very ironic. It's very ironic that Byron Noem would be participating in a fetish or kink or lifestyle that he and his wife and his political party openly demonize. But behind closed doors, the whole story is wild. It is. These people are living just the most dramatic. If I had as much money as these two, you wouldn't hear from me. You wouldn't hear from me. I mean, I'd probably still be doing this, but this shit, messy. I also want to make it very clear before we get into this that I'm not kink shaming whatsoever. That is not my goal here. The fact that he does this doesn't matter. And I'm going to insert a video here that perfectly sums up my belief in all of this.
We don't give a fuck that your husband was out here fucking cross-dressing with big fake titties and short skirts, Kristi Noem. We do give a fuck that it's your party's internalized shame and making everybody go back into the fucking closet that makes them feel bad about it in the fucking first place. Your party who was out here voting against gender-affirming care and voting against trans kids, making fucking lists of them, making them hand over their driver's license. Your party who fucking voted to bring back conversion therapy on Trans Day of fucking Remembrance, okay? The thing that therapists and fucking psychiatrists have voted again and again and have said that no, this doesn't work. This isn't gonna make people straight at all. Okay, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? But no, your shame, your imaginary fucking guy in the sky, this book that you all are fucking holding on to control people. Are you It's your people. That's why we're making it a big fucking deal. I don't give a fuck. For most of us, that's just fucking Tim. We love the cross-dressers. We don't give a fuck. It's your party that's the fucking issue. It's not the fucking act. It's the fact that you have made it a fucking problem. You don't give a flying fuck, dude. It's your party that has made it a fucking problem.
I feel like if they weren't Nazis, it wouldn't matter. You know, if Kristi Noem wasn't indiscriminately deporting people because of the color of their skin, then it wouldn't matter. So what is bimboification? Let's talk about it. Thank you, by the way, to this Reddit user, Baby Bubbles, who is a mod of the Bimboification Hub subreddit. I'm not on Reddit, but I really appreciate Reddit because it's one of those places where if you have an obscure question, someone on Reddit has answered it for you. And I'm just lucky that there is a very long, very detailed explanation about what this fetish or lifestyle actually is. Bimboification fetish is about someone transforming or having someone transform into a bimbo. A bimbo is a person who is focused on being attractive, carefree, playful, and appearing as ditzy or dumb. A bimbo will typically prioritize looking sexy and hyper feminine, being flirtatious, embracing sexuality, enjoying the attention, and less concern for more complex thoughts or serious matters. Bimboification can be a kink, lifestyle, or personal exploration of femininity and hypersexuality. It is about embracing exaggerated aesthetics, confidence, sexuality, and individuality in a way that aligns with your personal desires and goals. Fine. There's nothing weird or malicious about it. This post goes on to describe bimboification as a kink and describes power dynamics between like a dom and a sub. The post will be linked in the show notes if you want to read more about it. The key aspects of this is, as it always should be, is consenting adults. Like the dynamic should be two consenting adults. And in the case of Byron Noem, he was hiring sex workers to live out this fantasy or this fetish. Again, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Now, if you haven't seen, I'm going to put up a blurred image of the photo here. Good for him, man. Like, none of us really needed to know about this, but here we are. And again, I'm going to reiterate this. If they weren't Nazis, it wouldn't matter. If they weren't Nazis, it would not matter, but they are, and it does. Every marriage is different, right? Like every dynamic is different, depends on what you and your partner or partners decide. Okay. And that takes constant negotiations. That takes constant like communications about what's changing for you, what's working for you, what's not working for you, what your needs are, and accepting what their needs are or not, and ending the relationship. Right. So we don't know. We're not gonna know unless Byron does a tell-all, and God, I hope he does. I really do, because I'm invested now. So we don't know like what their agreement is. And I'm trying to approach this from a non-judgmental point of view. Do you know what I mean? It's been very widely reported and known by anybody who pays attention to political anything that Kristi Noem has been having an affair pretty blatantly. His name is Corey Ludanowski. The New York Post is messy. This is a messy article. Kristi Noem's lover, Corey Ludanowski, is standing by her after pics of husband's cross-dressing fetish leak. Is this an April Fool's? We can't take the New York Post seriously, but messy. Absolutely messy. People magazine was reporting that Kristi Noem's husband allegedly told model his wife was having an affair with her advisor, and there's nothing I can do about it. He looks like a sniper, like he could be in a tower somewhere. On Tuesday, March 31st, Daily Mail published an investigation into Byron's participation in online fetish forums. As part of that investigation, the outlet uncovered hundreds of photos, videos, and messages showing the former first gentleman of South Dakota dressed in hot pink pants and massive fake breasts, apparently made of balloons. Byron also reportedly paid at least $25,000 to chat with online models in the bimboification scene, which fetishizes performers who have significant silicone injections and dramatic surgical enhancement. I You, God, okay. The Daily Mail spoke to 3 separate online models for the report. One woman claimed to the outlet that she had asked Byron, who was using the pseudonym Jason Jackson, about rumors that his wife, Kristi, was having an ongoing affair with her advisor, Corey Ludanowski. I asked him about it, and his response was, "I know. There's nothing I can do about it," the woman claimed. That is, listen, if he wasn't a Nazi, I would feel bad for him. Like I almost feel bad. I think it's sad that he into this kind of kink or fetish or whatever, and that he can't openly express that, like the repression that happens when you are a part of a cult like MAGA or the Republican Party and you unable to express yourself in a healthy way. Your family is the one that suffers. You are the one that suffers. I found a really good video on TikTok of a doctor who explained it very well.
I'm a clinical psychologist, and I'd like to talk about what's happening with Kristi Noem. And for context, I have helped a lot of couples through these types of revelations where one person has been living a secret life or has been holding a secret from the other partner, and the other partner has found out, and that's why they're seeking couples counseling. Noem's husband is into something called bimboification, and I'm going to be very careful in the language I'm using, but it is essentially where consensual adults really embrace wearing makeup and dressing as feminine as possible. And you can read the article to kind of learn more about his particular tastes. Kristi Noem has known this. She has known this for a very long time. And now her affair with, I think his name is Corey, her affair makes more sense now. Because I was trying to figure out why 2 married people would be having an affair that is the worst kept secret in Washington. I always feel terrible for people who are closeted or feel like they have to hide their kinks, and because they can never truly be who they are, and so they are destructive to themselves and they are destructive to their families. So Kristi probably learned about this early on, because when you get married, you try to make that person enough, and so he might have asked for certain things in the bedroom to try to satisfy him and make him happy. And Kristi might have gone along with that for a little bit, but she would eventually figure out that, okay, this is beyond what typically happens between a married couple. And, whether she walked in on him or he eventually told her, I don't know the answer to those questions, but I feel very certain that she knew, and that's why she felt so confident going into an extramarital affair. I suspect that she wasn't ousted because of this affair or because she was doing a terrible job as DHS. She, I think, was ousted because they got wind of this article and it would be an embarrassment to the White House. And so they kind of leaked that she was having this affair and that her husband was so embarrassed by it, and knowing that this was probably going to come out. And so they wanted to save face early and distance themselves. So when it did come out, they could, I don't even know what they're going to do, distance themselves. And pretty much, I think they're going to throw her under the bus and say bad things about her. But we'll see. Time will tell what they say about her. But just to show that just because Trump's likes you today doesn't mean he's going to like you tomorrow or 10 seconds from now. He is an opportunist, and he doesn't really care about anybody but himself. So he said wonderful things about Kristi Noem, and now she's ousted and alone, dealing with this. And I think it couldn't happen to a better person. I am not one who looks down on anybody who has a fetish. But what I will say is I just feel terrible when people have to be closeted about it. I would rather people be open and honest about what they're into and enter into a marriage eyes wide open. And I doubt that is what happened. I think this came out within their marriage.
So I hope that maybe, I don't know, I have no hope. Maybe this is like a turning point for him and he can recognize like how his political party is through this experience and like get out of it and be a beacon for other Republican men who, Lindsey Graham, hello, to stop being fucking evil. That's wishful thinking. I know that it is, but I want to feel bad for him. I want to feel bad for him, but I can't. At least I learned a new thing. I learned something new. You learned something new, and now we can move on. All right, so now let's talk about Matt Gaetz. As a Floridian, the way that I hate Matt Gaetz is unmatched. I have no love for Matt Gaetz. I just don't care for him for a multitude of reasons we're not going to get into today. But he is awful, terrible, evil, ridiculous, the worst, hate him. I wish him nothing but the worst. I saw this, there's a woman who has a MAGA sock account that she created after Charlie Kirk died. So she'll go over there and then she comes back and reports like what she's seeing and what MAGA folks are talking about. And she posted a video of herself, she's just looking so tired. And she's just like, this is the like this is what they're saying. This is what's happening. And I was like, oh girl, I need to look into that. What? This is happening. I don't think that there are alien hybrids walking among us, but the fact that Matt Gaetz is talking about it, that's real. That's happening. Former Congressman Matt Gaetz made a bold claim about a secret U.S. Sorry, it's not funny. Former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz made a bold claim about secret U.S. government program that, to be honest, many will find alienating. Literally, oh God, please. In an interview posted Tuesday with podcaster Benny Johnson, Gaetz insisted there's a secret program that is actively working to breed alien-human hybrids designed to help officials communicate with people on other worlds. And I hate everything. What do I know? I'm just a bitch with a camera. Like I don't know. I don't know anything. But like, would I be surprised if that was happening? No. Do I believe it? No. But mostly because it's coming from Matt fucking Gaetz. So he goes on to, he's quoted in this interview. I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication, Gaetz told Johnson. An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that. Oh God, we have okay. There's a video of him talking about it. We're going to insert it here.
I mean, I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that.
Non-human biologics, interracial alien mating? What the F is going on? Look, wait a second. You had whistleblowers tell you this kind of thing? Can you please unpack that?
Yeah, I had a guy who was uniformed. He was a senior enlisted with the United States Army. Came into my office in Crestview, Florida, in a non-classified setting. I had members of my staff there. And what they explained is that the military ran a very secret program where aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants. Now, again, I didn't verify this, but what the whistleblower was telling me is that there were like between 6 and 12 locations around the country where this happened. And what he wanted was a group, members of Congress, to all show up at the same time at all of these different locations so that any of those activities could not be moved. And of course, it's a physical impossibility to get members of Congress to simultaneously show up at like 8 locations at one time. And so that never occurred.
Had to do that. Sorry about it. Now, listen, nothing is crazy anymore. Nothing is crazy anymore. There are no rules. Anything can happen. This is the most unserious government and the most unserious, like, the Republicans have ever been. I've always been of the opinion that if there are, just don't tell me. I don't need to know. Space already freaks me out. I just like, I want to disappear into nothingness whenever I think about how small we actually are and how vast space is and what could be out there and how there's so much nothingness out there. I just want to disappear forever and I hate it so much. Please, God, don't tell me if there are aliens. I really just don't want to know. But I also just don't, if this were coming from Bill Nye the Science Guy, I would probably believe it. That would be like, oh, yeah, that makes total sense. Matt Gaetz is not known for telling the truth. You know what I mean? So take that with a grain of salt or whatever. That's insane. On to less weird things. I want to share with you something I found, and I've not seen anyone talk about this, and I really hope that this is helpful for you to help you build a plan to make sure that you are informed and you are registered to vote and you can make a plan to show up to vote. I found a source, a website called ballotpedia.org. I'm actually very, very excited about it. Let me just sign up for their newsletter right here. It was created by Leslie Graves as a way to help preserve democracy. Because here's the thing, millions of dollars and so much time is put into trying to convince you that your vote and your voice do not matter. And if your vote and your voice didn't matter, they wouldn't be spending that much time trying to suppress both of them. And the most way that you can get back at people who are trying to suppress you is to show up anyway. That is biggest part of resistance, I think, for a lot of us, is showing up anyway, in the face of hopelessness, in the face of fear, in the face of everyone who is trying to keep you from doing what you believe is right. When you show up anyway, that is the best way to show your resistance. The easiest thing that you can do for your neighbors, for your community, for your children, your children's children, for yourself, is to show up to vote. It is the easiest thing you can do. Now, being informed on what's on the ballot, knowing all of the different judges, understanding the wording which on the ballot, which sometimes they make confusing on fucking purpose, is tough, right? And Ballotpedia makes all of that really easy. Leslie Graves is the one who started Ballotpedia as a way, again, to preserve democracy and be unbiased and just give you the information that you need to make your own informed decisions when you're in the ballot box. Now, what I love about this is that when you go to ballotpedia.org, and again, all this will be linked down in the show notes. So it does have, at the beginning, it'll have all of the relevant news for the day at the top. And when you scroll down, you can enter your address to see the elections on your ballot. Now, it'll ask for your email address. You don't have to add your email address. I'm going to add mine because I want to see what they're sending out, you know? You can just put your city in if you want to. So I put in St. Petersburg, Florida, and there's 130 238 days, we have an election on Tuesday, August 18th, and at 215 days, we have an election on Tuesday, November 3rd. That's the day before my birthday. And then when you click on one of those, it'll say, welcome to your sample ballot. Your election is Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. It was 138 days. We have data indicating your ballot will contain 9 candidate races and 0 ballot measures. As we get closer to election day, find additional races and candidates will update the sample ballot accordingly. Fun. You can decide if you want a concise or a detailed ballot. We're just going to go with concise. And then it'll show you what is going to be on the ballot. So there's a U.S. Senate special election. Ashley Moody is the current incumbent. Fuck Ashley Moody. And then it has everybody who is in the primary. Go Angela Nixon. Let's go Angie Nixon. Let's fucking go. U.S. House District 14, the governor of Florida, lieutenant governor of Florida, attorney general of Florida. Everything that's on the ballot potentially is going to be listed here for you. And then after this is over, then we'll be able to look at the next election in November. Now, if there were ballot measures on here, then it would go over what those ballot measures are, but we don't have any ballot measures coming up. Also, for the data nerds, there's like in-depth analysis, and they have all the data and information that you need to make a plan to go vote. So I recommend Ballotpedia in tandem with vote.org. Make sure you're registered to vote and where your polling location is, and then head over to Ballotpedia to study the ballot, see who's on it, do your research, and go fucking vote. Okay? Thank you. Let's end on a cute note. All right? Let's end on a cute note. Chesney, the kangaroo, escaped from a petting zoo and spent 3 days running around. He's so cute. He's so cute. He scaled an 8-foot fence. That's how a kangaroo would escape the petting zoo. I'm running out of steam. The unprecedented leap at Sunshine Farm in Necedah, Wisconsin, folks, tell me how to pronounce that, last week was precipitated by some stray dogs that rushed the enclosure and spooked the 16-month-old Chesney, said his keeper, Debbie Marland. She said, she and friends then trekked hither and yon in this town about 100, it's not funny, but it is, 160 miles northwest of Milwaukee. They rented heat-seeking drones also to try and find Chesney, and Chesney was just like not having it. He's like, no, I'm gone, bitches. These dogs scared the shit out of me, and I'm gone. I'm leaving. And good for him. I hope, he's back now at the petting zoo, but like, Chesney deserves to be free. Now, I just imagine chasing a kangaroo through the woods of Wisconsin is comical. Maybe not comical if you're the one doing it, but the quote in here from the lady who was trying to track him down said, "It almost looked like a dinosaur running through the woods," Johnson said. "It's got a long tail, and the way it was moving and hopping, that's the only way I can describe it." I just, like, how absurd is that your kangaroo in your petting zoo escaped, and now you're running through the woods trying to find it, and all of a sudden you're in Jurassic Park, bitch. That's crazy. Eventually they got his enclosure mate, whose name is Kenny. They're named after Kenny Chesney, the country singer. They got like a scented like blanket or something that smelled like Kenny, and then they got Chesney's favorite treats, and they like calmly got him to like be comfortable with the people who were trying to get him back to his enclosure. He's only 40 pounds, I guess. He's still just a baby. They were able to like scoop him up and like, take him back to the enclosure. They put a mesh top over it because apparently they learned a lesson. Poor Kenny and Chesney. I'm glad that Chesney is safe. I hope that he enjoyed his time out in the woods of Wisconsin. I hope he met some hot babes and like had some fun while he was out and about. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Adult Sesame Street. What did we learn today? We learned about Chesney the kangaroo from Wisconsin. We learned how to look up what's on the ballot in your area and upcoming elections so that you can vote and know who you're voting for and fucking go vote, please, for the love of God. We learned about Matt Gaetz saying that he was approached by a whistleblower about aliens mating with humans at government facilities. 8 of them all over the country. And we also learned about bimboification and too much about Kristi Noem's love life. You're welcome. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to join the Patreon. The Patreon is the best way to support me. I'll have that link down below and in the show notes. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. My socials will also be linked down below if you would like to follow me for more shenanigans. Information you didn't need to know, but now we know together. Anyway, thank you for being here, and I hope y'all have a great week. Okay, bye.